Hare Krishna. So ISKCON Delhi heartily welcomes His Grace Nitya Krishna Prabhu. So Prabhuji is from Detroit, USA, and Prabhuji is a dear disciple of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. And currently, Prabhuji is doing a big service. He is the project director of the dream project of Guru Maharaj, the Kurukshetra temple. So Prabhuji is immensely contributing towards the temple to get it finished as soon as possible. So let's welcome Prabhuji with a loud Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Irivaradari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Irivaradari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Vanachari Raya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Raya Radha Madhava Raya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Raya Radha Madhava Raya Gopi Jana Vallabha Irivaradari Vidana Vallabha Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Vanachari Raya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Parta Sati Radha Parta Sati Radhe, Radha Parta Sati Radha Parta Sati Radhe. Jaya Sita Ram Lakshmana Hanuman, Jaya Sita Ram Lakshmana Hanuman, Sita Ram Lakshmana Hanuman. Jaya Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha. Narasimha Lakshmi Narasimha Narasimha Lakshmi Narasimha. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Orita Goda Haribo, 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 Orita Goda Haribo. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramhamsa Parivajagacharya Stotarata Srimangais Abhay Charanavinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramhamsa Parivajagacharya Stotarata Srimangais Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai ISKCON BBT Founder Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Grahantha Raj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Srila Prabhupada's Transcendental Book Distribution Marathon Month Ki Jai Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shishi Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasim Tato Jayamudirin Nasta Prayesha Vabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Hare Krishna. Very grateful for this opportunity to be with all of you today in this most glorious Shri Shri Radha Parthasarthi temple. Thank you for allowing me to attempt to purify myself by speaking on Grantha Raj Srimad Bhagavatam. So I've been asked to speak today on Canto 1, Chapter 5, text number 11. The title of the chapter is Narada's Instruction on Srimad Bhagavatam. I'll just recite the verse. Tadvad visargo janataga viplavo Yasmin pati shlokam abadayayapi Namanyayatasya yashavankitanayat Shrinvanti gayanti grananti sadavaha Tadvag visargo janataga viplavo Yasmin prati shlokam abadayapi Namanyayantasya yasavankitaniyat Shrinvanti gayanti gananti sadavaha Tadvag visargo janataga viplavo Yasmin prati shlokam abadaya batayapi Namanyantasya yasoankitaniyat Shrinvanti gayanti gananti sadavaha Kanya Sargo Yutanaga Viplo Sarvag Visargo Janava Tiri Bablo Sarvag Visargo Janataga Viplavo Min pratishlokam abadaya bhayatepi. Min pratishlokam abadaya bhayatepi. Vaishnavis? Tadva visarga jana viplava. Pratishlokam abadaya bhayatepi. Tat, that, vak, vocabulary, visarga, creation, janata, the people in general, aga, sins, viplava, revolutionary, yasmin, in which, pratishlokam, each and every stanza, abadavati, irregularly composed, api, in spite of, namani, transcendental names, etc., anantasya, of the unlimited Lord, yasaha, glory, ankitani, depicted, yat, what, srinvanti, do hear, gayanti, do sing, gananti, do accept, sadhavaha, the purified men who are honest. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanavinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. On the other hand, that literature, which is full of descriptions of the transcendental glories of the name, fame, forms, pastimes, etc., of the unlimited Supreme Lord, is a different creation, full of transcendental words directed towards bringing about a revolution in the impious lives of this world's misdirected civilization. Such transcendental literatures, even though imperfectly composed, are heard, sung, and accepted by purified men who are thoroughly honest. Please repeat. On the other hand, that literature, which is full of descriptions of the transcendental glories of the name, fame, forms, pastimes, etc., of the unlimited Supreme Lord, is a different creation, full of transcendental words directed towards bringing about a revolution in the impious lives of this world's misdirected civilization. Such transcendental literatures, even though imperfectly composed, are heard, sung, and accepted by purified men who are thoroughly honest. Hindi translation is taking place in the Parikrama mark, for those who are not comfortable with English. Yes, I guess if... Okay. Purport. It is a qualification of the great thinkers to pick up the best even from the worst. It is said that intelligent men should pick up nectar from a stock of poison, should accept gold even from a filthy place, should accept a good and qualified wife even from an obscure family, and should accept a good lesson even from a man or from a teacher who comes from the untouchables. These are some of the ethical instructions for everyone in every place, without exception. But a saint is far above the level of an ordinary man. He is always absorbed in glorifying the Lord, because by broadcasting the holy name and fame of the Supreme Lord, the polluted atmosphere of the world will change. And as a result of propagating the transcendental literatures like Srimad Bhagavatam, people will become sane in their transactions. While preparing this commentation on this particular stanza of Srimad Bhagavatam, we have a crisis before us. Our neighboring friend China has attacked the border of India with a militaristic spirit. We have practically no business in the political field, yet we see that previously there were both China and India, and they both lived peacefully for centuries without ill feeling. The reason is that they lived in those days in an atmosphere of God consciousness, and every country over the surface of the world was God-fearing, pure-hearted, and simple. There was no question of political diplomacy. There is no cause of quarrel between two countries, China and India, over land which is not very suitable for habitation. And certainly there is no cause for fighting on this issue. But due to the age of the quarrel Kali, which we have discussed, there is always a chance of quarrel on slight provocation. This is due not to the issue in question, but to the polluted atmosphere of this age. Systematically, there is propaganda by a section of people to stop glorification of the name and fame of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, there is a great need for disseminating the message of Srimad Bhagavatam all over the world. It is the duty of every responsible Indian to broadcast a transcendental message of Srimad Bhagavatam throughout the world, to do all the supermost good, as well as to bring about the desired peace in the world. Because India has failed in her duty by neglecting this responsible work, there is so much quarrel and trouble all over the world. We are confident that if the transcendental message of Srimad Bhagavatam is received only by the leading men of the world, certainly there will be a change of heart, and naturally the people in general will follow them. The mass of people in general are tools in the hands of the modern politicians and leaders of the people. If there is a change of heart of the leaders only, certainly there will be a radical change in the atmosphere of the world. We know that our honest attempt to present this great literature conveying transcendental messages for reviving God consciousness of the people in general and re-spiritualizing the world atmosphere is fraught with many difficulties. Our presenting this matter in adequate language, especially a foreign language, will certainly fail. And there will be so many literary discrepancies despite our honest attempt to present it in the proper way. But we are sure that with all our faults in this connection, the seriousness of the subject matter will be taken into consideration, and the leaders of society will still accept this due to being an honest attempt to glorify the Almighty Lord. When there is a fire in the house, the inmates of the house go out to get help from the neighbors who may be foreigners, and yet without knowing the language, the victims of the fire express themselves. The neighbors understand the need, and even though not expressed in the same language, the same spirit of cooperation is needed to broadcast this transcendental message of Srimad Bhagavatam throughout the polluted atmosphere of the world. After all, it is a technical science of spiritual values, and thus we are concerned with the techniques and not with the language. If the techniques of this great literature are understood by the people of the world, there will be success. When there are too many materialistic activities by people in general all over the world, there is no wonder that a person or nation attacks another person or nation on slight provocation. That is the rule of this age of Kali, or quarrel. The atmosphere is already polluted with corruption of all descriptions, and everyone knows it well. There are so many unwanted literatures full of materialistic ideas of sense gratification. In many countries, there are bodies appointed by the state to detect and censor obscene literature. This means that neither the government nor the responsible leaders of the public want such literature, yet it is in the marketplace because people want it for sense gratification. The people in general want to read, that is a natural instinct, but because their minds are polluted, they want such literature. Under the circumstances, transcendental literature like Srimad Bhagavatam will not only diminish the activities of the corrupt mind of the people in general, but also it will supply food for the hankering after reading some interesting literature. In the beginning, they may not like it because one suffering from jaundice is reluctant to take sugar candy. But we should know that sugar candy is the only remedy for jaundice. Similarly, let there be systematic propaganda for popularizing the reading of Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam, which will act like sugar candy for the jaundice-like condition of sense gratification. When men have a taste for this literature, the other literatures which are catering poison to society will then automatically cease. We are sure, therefore, that everyone in human society will welcome Srimad Bhagavatam, even though it is now presented with so many faults, for it is recommended by Sri Narada, who has very kindly appeared in this chapter. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamstra Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamstra Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyasya Krupa Sindhu Bevacha Patita Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gauda Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. I'll just reread the verse again. On the other hand, that literature, which is full of descriptions of the transcendental glories of the name, fame, forms, pastimes, etc., of the unlimited Supreme Lord, is a different creation, full of transcendental words directed towards bringing a revolution in the impious lives of this world's misdirected civilization. Such transcendental literatures, even though imperfectly composed, are heard, sung, and accepted by purified men who are thoroughly honest. So, I've been asked to speak on this verse, which is quite embarrassing for me because I've been asked to discuss this verse in relation to book distribution and book distribution marathon month. I'm sitting amidst the kings and queens of the universe of book distribution here in Delhi. You all are the inspiration for the world to fulfill this great desire of Srila Prabhupada to distribute his transcendental books. So I feel a little bit like, a torchlight trying to offer light to the sun. It's hopeless, but for my own purification and for my own, hopefully, inspiration to follow in all of your footsteps, in being so eager and sincere in distributing Srila Prabhupada's books. I hope to become inspired as such. You all are blessed. You've been inspired for so many years by His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, and now by Mohan Rupa Prabhu and all the amazing Sankirtan leaders. So my sincere Dandavat pranams to all of you. And again, pray that I may pick up some motivation to distribute books following in all of your footsteps. So the history of Book Marathon Month is also, very interesting. I was just reading it a few weeks ago. Thought I'd share. Maybe, I'm sure most of you and all of you already know this, but so this idea sprout in 1972 in Los Angeles. The devotees who were going out in Harinam, they noticed that there was heavy activity in the streets during the Christmas season. People were out shopping and buying so-called gifts, and the stores are staying open later. So the devotees organized a 3-day blitz to distribute as many books as possible. And in 3 days leading up to Christmas Eve, the day before Christmas, they distributed an astounding 17,000 books. And when Srila Prabhupada received news of this success, he says, it is scarcely believable that more than 17,000 books could be distributed by a single temple in 3 days. He was so touched. And as we know, Srila Prabhupada was the master of motivation. And so he enthused the devotees. And I think the next year they went to a 10-day period. And then shortly thereafter they went to a full month. And now I understand we're now in 6 weeks. 2 months? 2 months. Jai Ho. Officially 2 months. Wow. So the mercy is getting greater and greater. As in parallel, the need is getting greater and greater. As this age of Kali-Yuga progresses, the need for book distribution becomes exponentially more and more. As Srila Prabhupada indicates, the progression of the age of Kali-Yuga. This great opportunity is becoming more and more. We might think at some point, hey, so many books have gone out. Are we saturating the market? Rest assured, every day, the need for more and more books is actually increasing. So our endeavors are greatly effective, yet also ever increasing in need. So we can search for ways to continue to be more and more inspired. So if we think our endeavor is the key ingredient in book distribution, right? We know that Krishna is the controller of all things and the controller of all results. So our main activity in book distribution is to endeavor. Srila Rupa Goswami tells us that we should be utsahan, to endeavor with intelligence. So in anything, our endeavor, it is fueled by faith. When I have faith in something, then my endeavor follows. For those who have gone to university, your faith to go through the struggles, to sacrifice fun times for studying, writing papers, the great endeavor to, learn these materials, it was due to the faith in that piece of paper. Faith that piece of paper would ultimately lead to other types of paper. Money. Right? That was the source of our inspiration to endeavor tirelessly. And you can take that to anything, whatever we have achieved in life. If we have faith in the objective, then that endeavor will follow. Right? So, like this, let us try today to discuss a few things to build our faith in the potency of book distribution, the potency of Srila Prabhupada's literatures, that hopefully will have the result of increasing our endeavor. Of course, all of your endeavors already at near max, so we can try to bring it up a little more, but for myself and maybe others, we'll try to make a bigger leap by understanding the potency of these books and building our faith. So books are very interesting because I was reading this and I saw this, that books have this great quality that they wait patiently and speak when the reader is ready. It means that these books have long-term potential. They're willing to wait and sit idle. But ultimately, when that reader is ready, that book is ready to speak. And that is one of the great glories of books. These books never argue. Sometimes we fear getting into conversations out of wanting to avoid an argument. Well, books, they never argue. But they also never compromise. They give it as it is. And that is the one tremendous glory of Srila Prabhupada. He didn't dilute anything. He gave it as it is, unvarnished. And as distributors, the greatest glory is the books. See, when we give gifts, we know how long does that gift give? Meaning give the happiness we hope. A few fleeting moments. But these books keep on giving far past even our own existence. The value of this book will surpass even our lifetime. And that is the great fortune of distributing these books. So let us understand and try to build our faith in these books by discussing maybe three things, pulling from the purport that was asked to speak on. One, the extraordinary need to address this dire condition in the material world, because we know this is the only remedy. Then two, speak about how we know factually this is the most pleasing activity to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Kṛṣṇa. And then finally, we'll see how this is most pleasing to Srila Prabhupada. So in that way, we can try to increase our faith. Of course, this verse is being spoken to Srila Vyasadeva at the time after he had completed compilation of all the Vedic literatures and was feeling unfulfilled. And he was then given the instruction to compose Srimad Bhagavatam to ease the pains of his suffering. And here in the prior verse, it is spoken about the words that do not describe the glories of the Lord cannot sanctify anything. But here we see that the words of Srimad Bhagavatam are so powerful that they can bring about a revolution. Right? We see that they can bring about a revolution in the impious lives of this world's misdirected civilization. That's a direct quote from the verse. Bring about a revolution. That's a very powerful statement to say that these books have that capability. And one very important point here that we can take is that even if they are imperfectly composed, sometimes one of our worries in going out in book distribution is, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I'm not sure how to do it. What if I'm rejected? What if I don't say? No matter. Even if imperfectly executed, there is extraordinary benefit and potential for this revolution. So what greater, confidence do we need than that even if we don't do it perfectly, the potential is there. The potency is there. And we see that the world is extremely polluted, right? How many wars are being fought? how much, difficulties of the body, hunger, disease, substance abuse, violent crimes. All of this is due to a lack of God consciousness. Srila Prabhupada writes that this war between China and India that was taking place when he was writing this, of course, he wrote these commentaries before he had gone to the U.S. He came to the U.S. with his first canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, completed in 3 parts. So this was written before. And he is saying that they are fighting for inhabitable land. Land that has no value even. Uninhabitable. Thank you. So this land that is not even of that much value is creating a war. And this is the nature of a lack of God consciousness. When we try to claim something that is ours that isn't, it leads to great struggle. Right? Every war is based on the single faulty claim that this is mine and this is not yours. How much blood has been spilled in the history of man by that single consciousness? And what do we learn in these books? Everything is Krishna's. And that we are to use all of the Lord's resources for His service. We know we come into this world with nothing. And we're going to leave this world with nothing. So by just the most simplest of understanding, we know everything that we are using in this world, everything that we are claiming to be ours, is not ours. With that simple idea, how much war would be prevented? Hunger. There is so much hunger out there, even just to fuel the material body. Scientists will tell you that if 10% of the world's population went vegetarian, 10% more, you would solve world hunger. What do our books teach us? What is good for us to consume and what is not? Think about the environment. We struggle here in Delhi with, great pollution of the air. But pollution of the air is not going to be solved by CNG vehicles. Pollution of the air is going to be solved by first removing pollution of the heart. So long as there is greed in the heart, there will be means to try to exploit Mother Earth for our gain. So until we cleanse the pollution of the heart, we'll never cleanse the pollution of the air. You can try by all kinds of means, but it won't work. It is these books that give us the hope to do that. To stop substance abuse and all these, tragedies that are occurring. Until one gets a higher taste of spiritual life, you'll never stop the addictions driven by these things. And what greater example Srila Prabhupada showed us, that where did he start distributing these books and knowledge? To the most intoxicated population walking this planet. So, when this verse says that it can bring about a revolution in the impious lives, we sometimes think, that's, fanciful exaggeration. No, with just a little bit of contemplation, we can see how powerful these books are. So much energy is being put forth by humanity through things like United Nations and G20 summits and all these things to try to bring about a better world. And it is all failing miserably. In fact, the world is getting more and more difficult. But what is the only solution? getting these books into the hands of as many people as possible. Whether they read it today or 50 years from now, the effect will be there. You know, these flimsy Nobel Peace Prizes given to people who accomplish so little. The real Nobel Peace Prizes should come to all of you, the book distributors of Srila Prabhupada's transcendental message. This is the real Peace Prize that is available. So, Srila Prabhupada says there is a great need. He was speaking over 50 years ago, 60 years ago, there is a great need. And with the progression of Kali-Yuga, the need today is even greater. And Srila Prabhupada also indicates to us, gives us an idea where we can start distributing these books. And he suggests, go to the leaders of society. When we try to distribute these books to the leaders of society, he says there can be a change in the heart. And if the heart changes in the leaders, what happens? As Krishna Bhagavan says in Bhagavad Gita, as great men do, others will follow. And we know where Srila Prabhupada got this idea, like where he got all his ideas. From Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, when he left Navadvip Dham, Mayapur, to go to Calcutta as a sannyasi, he actually broke many conventions, many conventional practices. And he was criticized severely. He would wear coats that were stitched. He would wear fancy hats. He would ride in vehicles. Why? Because he was trying to speak to the leaders of society, trying to get this knowledge into their hands. He was willing to sacrifice his own even reputation to try to convince these leaders of the great value of this knowledge. And he thought if he, looked in that way, that maybe they would take to the message. Though he was the strictest and most, we can say, extreme follower of the principles of devotional service, his own austerity was incomparable. When it came to practical distribution of the message, he was willing to do anything. And so this target towards the leaders is something that we have a great opportunity to do and continue to do. I know many efforts are being done by so many of you going to big corporations and to political leaders and others trying to distribute these books. And Srila Prabhupada, is blessing all of these endeavors by indicating that it is a great opportunity to do so. So we know these books can certainly bring about a great revolution. And how do we know that this distribution of these books is very pleasing to the Supreme Lord? Do we know it is fact or is it opinion? We know it's a fact. Why? Because Krishna tells us in the Bhagavad Gita, at the very end, after he has concluded telling everything to Arjuna, I wrote the verse down. He says, for one who explains this supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and he will come back to me. What greater reciprocation, what greater motivation one needs. That the Supreme Lord is saying to one who distributes this message, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and he'll come back to me. But then he adds, in the next verse, even more. Just to be sure that we are clear of the position of one who transmits this message. He says, there is no servant in the world more dear to me, nor will there ever be one more dear. No one more dear past, present, or in the future than one who transmits this message. And why is this so? Any father who has been separated from his child, what is the condition of that father's heart? Great pain and anxiety. And if somebody finds that lost child in a crowded marketplace and brings that child back to the father, what is the limit that that father is willing to do for that person who returned that child to him? What is the limit? There is no limit. Anything. So when we distribute these books, we are giving the opportunity for that child who received the book to be reunited with his Supreme Father. How pleased Kṛṣṇa would be with us for having performed that service. There is no measure of Kṛṣṇa's appreciation for someone who can return one of his lost children back to him through these books. So this is why Kṛṣṇa doesn't speak on emotion or sentiment. He speaks on fact. And the facts that are the absolute truth. And so this distribution of his books is the most pleasing to him. And so now, finally, how do we understand that the distribution of these books are most pleasing to Srila Prabhupada? Well, I pulled a bunch of quotes from Srila Prabhupada on book distribution. Many of these, you've all heard, we've all heard, but it's always nice to hear them. And then I just look to my left and I see one beautiful. I promise you this, that if you distribute my books throughout your life, Lord Chaitanya will personally come to deliver you. So the ones I pulled cannot stand up to this. What a beautiful promise by a pure devotee of the Lord. If a pure devotee of the Lord makes a promise, Kṛṣṇa is bound to fulfill it. Bound to fulfill it. Srila Prabhupada writes to Tamal Kṛṣṇa Maharaj, actually producing and distributing books is our most important engagement. All other engagements culminate in this one end. Distribution of books. It's very important. All other engagements culminate in this book. It doesn't mean all other engagements are not important, but they should be meant to dovetail into the proliferation of distribution of books. We build these beautiful temples to invite people to come and see the Lord in a very magnificent way and inspire them to go home with blessings and mercy and a book and a desire to read it. That is why we do this. And this is what Srila Prabhupada is telling us. He says, there is no doubt about it. To distribute books is our most important activity. The temple is a place not for eating and sleeping, but as a base from which we send out our soldiers to fight with Maya. Fight with Maya means to drop thousands and millions of books into the lap of conditioned souls. Just like during wartime, bombs are raining from the sky like anything. That was a letter to Rameshwar in 1973. Dropping bombs from the sky. This is our great opportunity. So like this, there are many wonderful quotes. He says, book distribution is our most important work. All the leaders should tax their brains for increasing the sale of our books. I have always said that if we simply rely on book distribution, all our needs are met. And so, of course, our beloved, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj was constantly inspiring all of us to go out and distribute books, inspiring us to be innovative, to tax our brains in finding how to distribute more and more books for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada and Guru Parampara. And now this is continuing with all of you, finding so many amazing ways. And so this was the great opportunity to please Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada is pleased because this message of transmitting the books was a direct instruction to him from who? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who implored him that when you get money, print books. So I want to try to do this. Hopefully this will play through. I want to play a small clip from you directly from Srila Prabhupada, expressing his gratitude in this regard, to understand how pleased Srila Prabhupada becomes when we help him fulfill the orders of his spiritual master. Hopefully this will work.
So I was sometimes horrified. What is this? I have to give up my family life. Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is calling. I have to take sannyas. So I was horrified. But I saw simultaneously morning. Anyway, it is by his grace I was forced to give up my family life and so-called life. He brought me cover in preaching the gospel. So, this is a memorable day. But it is hard. I am trying little bit, and you are all helping. So I have to thank you more. You are actually representative of my Guru Maharaj. Because you are helping me in executing the order of my Guru Maharaj. Thank you.
How dearly Srila Prabhupada was appreciative of the endeavor to help him fulfill the order of his spiritual master. Every book that we distribute is bringing about so much pleasure and happiness to Srila Prabhupada and gratitude. And what greater achievement in life we can have, what greater motivation we can have than to please a pure devotee of the Lord who came to deliver all of us. And so, though thousands and thousands of books have gone, remember, the need for distributing books is only increasing. And so, we hope that your efforts and our efforts to distribute books will finally bring about this revolution in consciousness. And though we may be imperfect in our abilities, we can rest fully assured that the perfection of the books that are going out will do all the work. So whatever shortcomings we may have is no excuse to hold back. And our only objective is to perfect our endeavor. Perfect our endeavor. Just keep working. And if we do, we will please all of our acharyas and, of course, the Supreme Personality of God. So this is a great opportunity, this book distribution marathon. It is a direct opportunity. And I pray at all of your feet to have some inspiration to follow in all of your footsteps, to practice this process of distributing Srila Prabhupada's books during Book Distribution Marathon Month. Book Distribution Marathon Month ki jai. Grantha Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda ki jai. Any reflections, corrections, comments? Yes, Prabhuji? Mohan Rupa Prabhu's and Rishi Kumar Prabhu have some hopefully good chastisement for me.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu,
Hare.
thank you very much for enthusing and encouraging us to distribute Prabhupada's books. I have a question, Prabhuji. What are the challenges we face in preaching in the West?
What are the challenges we face? Oh. How much time do we have? You know, the ultimately the challenge is our own anarthas and our own impurities. You know, in many ways, preaching in the West, I can argue, is easier. Because here in India, you have to first undo so much information, right? You have to get the eraser out and erase all the things that are imprinted in the mind and heart, and then rewrite what is fact, because there's so much misinformation. So on the one hand, in the West, because there's such a lack of God consciousness, on the one hand, it's actually sometimes easier because they're searching and there's not, so many predetermined fallacies in their mind. So, on that basis, it should be actually easier in the West. Of course, in the West, you see that people are so conditioned by this, idea that material advancement will lead to real advancement. But again, I can say that is the same in all parts of the world. There is no real difference. So I can only ascribe the difficulties to be to our own laziness and prevalence of motive ignorance. We have no real excuse. Srila Prabhupada proved that over and over again. He just sat in a park and rang his kartals and was able to transform the hearts. All we have to do is take the books written by that amazing personality and put them in the hands of individuals. We don't even have to explain what's in there. We don't have to know what's in there. We should, by the way. How do we further please Srila Prabhupada? Read his books. He gave up his sleep. He gave up everything to write those books. That is a great opportunity. But even if we don't, just put them in the hands. So we have that opportunity. That is what I would say is, and all of you, Prabhupada says that it is up to the Indians to transmit this to the world. Please come and visit us in the West and save us. We need, and a few decades passed, and Guru Maharaj was seeing that this project was, not manifesting, and that Srila Prabhupada's desire was being unfulfilled, and he took it upon himself as his mission. It was not his instruction by Srila Prabhupada. It was his mission to fulfill the desire of Srila Prabhupada. And so, with that great endeavor, the temple is now nearing completion. I hesitate to give a date because, things are always very unpredictable. But the temple is largely constructed now, and we are anticipating, an opening, I can say, in the next 12 to 18 months. That is but it needs a lot of support. I beg all of you to please go and visit Kurukshetra Dham. It is literally now a 2-hour journey on these roads that have been made. And just see the wonderful project that Guru Maharaj has raised for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada. And you'll be stunned and hopefully inspired. And please, share this with people you know and support the project as best you can. But we have the main temple hall there. You may have heard that the Brahmachari ashram is now open and devotees are staying on site, which has been a huge boon to the whole project and a great development. And so we're nearing completion and beg for all of your blessings and prayers and also support so that we can finish this project as soon as possible for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Anything else? Any other comments or? Yes, Prabhuji. What time we have to complete? What is our end time?
थैंक यू प्रभु जी, आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। कृपा से इस बार 5 मुस्लिम भाइयों ने भागवत में कि महाराज जी का हृदय वास करता है इस मंदिर में, महाराज जी का घर है इस मंदिर। तो यह मंदिर हमारा सौभाग्य है कि महाराज जी इस राजधानी में ऐसे राधा पारसार्थी का निर्माण करके गए हैं कि पूरा जीवन हम सेवा कर पाए तब भी कम है। तो गुरु महाराज से चरणों में प्रार्थना है कि हे गुरुदेव, आप हमें आशीर्वाद दें कि हम द्वार द्वार गली गली जाके आपके करुणा को बांट सके। आपने अपना जीवन दे दिया है, हम पापी सो रहे हैं, हमें नींद आ रही है, हम खाने पीने में लगे हुए हैं, प्रसाद खा रहे हैं लेकिन बांट नहीं रहे। मेरे गुरु महाराज से प्रार्थना की, गुरुदेव मैं अपना कण कण आपकी सेवा में दे दूं, मुझे दुनिया का कुछ भी नहीं चाहिए, ये जीवन आपके लिए दे दूं। जिस प्रकार आपने पूरा जीवन हम भक्तों को दे दिया है, आपने इतनी खुशियां दे दी है, इतना सब कुछ दे दिया है, उसका ऋण मैं कभी नहीं चुका पाऊंगा। लेकिन है गुरुदेव, मैं आपकी आज्ञा का केवल एक का पालन कर पाऊं, बस यही अपने गुरुदेव से प्रार्थना करता हूं। हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna.
प्रभु जी के अंदर बहुत ही उत्साह रहता है, और जब भी चांदनी चौक एरिया में जाते हैं तो उर्दू की गीता जरूर ले जाते हैं। वर्क स्मार्ट बुद्धि से काम लेते हैं, क्योंकि वहाँ मुसलमान भाई बहुत ज्यादा रहते हैं, तो एक गीता जरूर उर्दू के ले जाते हैं, और उनकी गीता उर्दू की लोग खरीद भी लेते हैं। तो यही दिमाग प्रभुपाद बोलते हैं, वर्क स्मार्ट वर्क हार्ड। गधे की तरह मेहनत करने से दिमाग से काम करो। आप सबकी जानकारी के लिए जैसे पता है, इसमें रशिया में ये हालत है। अभी परसों ही मॉस्को के प्रेसिडेंट और रशिया के जो जीवित से है, मुझे व्हाट्सएप किया था किस तरह से जो पुतिन को गीता दिया था पीएम के माध्यम से दिलवाई थी। ये दिमाग की उपज है। उसका असर हुआ कि आज पर रशिया में हमारी रशियन भाषा गीता ही खत्म हो गई। इतनी बिकी, लोग खरीद रहे हैं, मांग से। यही प्रभुपाद गए कि शिकार करो तो गहने का शिकार करो, शिकार करो तो गहने का शिकार करो, है नहीं। और गहने का शिकार हो गया, उसका रिजल्ट क्या? पर रशिया में हमारी रशियन भाषा गीता ही खत्म हो गई। सोचने वाली बात, यहाँ तक अमेज़न वगैरह के पास ही स्टॉक खत्म हो गया है, लोग ऑनलाइन मंगा रहे हैं। तो एक किसे कहते प्रभुपाद गुरु महाराज की बड़ी इच्छा थी। अब गुरु महाराज जब भी यही गीता देखे 15 साल पहले इस गीता पर प्रतिबंध लगाया जा रहा था, रशियन गवर्नमेंट गीता प्रतिबंध लगा रही थी। अब महाराज गुरु महाराज लोग मिल करके किस तरह से उसको खत्म कराया, बंद नहीं होने दिया। और उल्टा हो गया, वक्त बदलते देर नहीं लगती। आज वही रशिया का प्रेसिडेंट गीता ले रहा है, कितनी वक्त बदलते देर नहीं लगती। और इसका असर हुआ कि अभी होम मिनिस्ट्री के अधिकारी आए थे हमारे पास, उनको 15 फ्रेंच भाषा में गीता चाहिए थी। हमारे बुक स्टॉल में था ही नहीं, 5 था, 5 खरीद के लेके गए। असर तो पड़ता है। वर्क स्मार्ट, दिमाग से बुद्धि लगाएंगे तो गीता जाएगी, अगर ऐसे दिमाग लगाएंगे तो नहीं आएगा। हमारे जो प्रभु जी हैं यही करते हैं कि जिस एरिया में जाते हैं, वहाँ किस एरिया में लोग ज्यादा लोग रहते हैं, उस टाइप के बुक्स ले जाते हैं। हर भाषा की किताब अपने पास होनी चाहिए, पता नहीं कौन टकरा जाए। राइट। हरे कृष्णा। बहुत धन्यवाद प्रभु जी आपका।
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण।
I think we can. Okay, we have time for one more. Hare Krishna in the back.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for the nice, wonderful lecture and inspiring all of us. So Prabhuji, I have 2 questions. I'm not sure how much time we have. So one question is like you mentioned one quote by Tamal Krishna Maharaj that how all the services like converges to the book distribution. But I'm like sometimes we see some activities like prasadam distribution, all this. So I'm not unable to assimilate this point. Can you just enlighten more on this point?
Yeah. So, how to correlate the convergence of all services into book distribution is the question. So, I may be performing arti to the deities. How is that connected to book distribution? I may be cooking in the kitchen. How is that connected to book distribution. I may be sweeping the floors of the temple. So the point here is that when we serve the Lord, He becomes pleased, and we invite people to experience that opportunity. You know, Srila Prabhupada has asked, why you're building all these, grand, magnificent temples? If Krishna is everywhere, what's the need of these temples? And he very sweetly said, well, if I was seated on just a tree, nobody would come and hear this message. So the point is that, we do these facilities and these great opportunities to bring awareness and opportunity for them to then get a book. So how we have to make sure that when we have these great temples